Hello and welcome back to the house in Fata Morgana, a Requiem for Innocence. Last time we learned more about Jaren and even Banyi, because what is a Fata Morgana character without a traumatic background story? But we should be getting back into the current timeline now, I guess, with part 2, The Conqueror. Part 2, What's Past is Prologue. Wherefore should the heathens say, Where is now their God? But our God is in the heavens, he hath done whatsoever he hath pleased. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. Yeah, we saw this last time. This always fades too quickly, I'm sorry, please read it for yourself. They that make them are like unto them, so is everyone that trusteth in them. "'Tis a great shame what happened to Ginevra. The post-revolution merrymaking continued into the wee hours of the morning. After things settled down and the men returned to city, an elderly man calling himself Odelon showed himself before me. Despite his evident age, the man stood tall and spoke in a clear, confident voice. Looking into his deep sapphire eyes, I felt as though I could see everything he had borne witness to in these walls engraved within them. Odelon revealed himself as an ally of the revolution and as having been in contact with Ginevra. Had things proceeded as initially planned, she was to take power and build the land anew with my assistance, but great change is never without its cost. Nevertheless, I am unspeakably grateful for how swiftly you managed to dethrone the former lord. Without your heroic efforts, we would still... Enough with the ass-kissing. Tell me who you are and exactly what you're hoping to get out of me." "No need to be so apprehensive, I assure you. I am more than happy to tell you everything you wish to know. I served as consul to the late Lord Jean-François Barnier, and 'twas I who aided revolution from within the manor's walls, coordinating with Ginevra on the outside. So that'd make you the one who ordered the gates open for us then?" "Verily. Furthermore, I arranged to have a number of the guards turn coat." "Well, you did fine work. We would have lost a lot more men without your efforts. I have to ask though, where were you while it was actually happening? I don't recall seeing you anywhere." "I took the liberty of finding myself shelter." "How fortunate for you to be able to kick back and watch, only to crawl out of your hole after we relieved the lord of his head." I mean, he doesn't look like he would be a big help in fighting, so I get your point, but I don't know, it's understandable. "Might you perchance be suggesting this old bag of bones take up the blade? I would only serve as an impediment to your success. 30 years ago, mayhap, but hardly could I point a sword straight today. Or perhaps you would say that I, as a supporter of your cause, should have been present for the occasion regardless. But of little aid I would have been, merely dying a fool's death, becoming naught but another body upon which the living would track." "You're skilled with your words, old man." "Of course, 'tis my job. There is but one service I can provide you, my knowledge." "Knowledge. Meaning you intend to continue to serve as the Lord's consul?
For what other reason would I lend my hand to this revolution?
You expect me to just take your word, to trust you?
Surely you're aware that you cannot rightfully govern this territory without the acknowledgement of the neighboring counts and the king. I have knowledge and connections which would prove invaluable in establishing you as legitimate and qualified to inherit the throne.
Yes, I know. I did not saunter into here blind. I still hadn't figured out how I would accomplish that, but... Wait, I recognize you from somewhere. I remember. You were here during the revolt 3 years ago. You're the one who helped Manier escape.
It was indeed I.
That's all the more reason not to trust you. You sat back and watched, not a damn peep, as that clown of a lord left his people to rot. Like how am I letting you be my consul?
You are an astute young man, but still far too green for your own good. And you fail to fully separate yourself from your old life.
Excuse me.
I assure you, I was no more fond of Lord Banier's predilections than you. But as I am sure you are aware, he was quick to send his opponents off to the gallows. And he would be no more merciful to his consul than a slum dweller. My objections would have ensured but one thing, a swift, meaningless death. Moreover, you knew it was not yet the time and stayed your hand, nay? I too had reached the same conclusion and was awaiting the appropriate time.
Like, it looks bad being just an opportunist, but... I mean, I cannot fault him for trying to stay alive. You cannot fault anyone for that at the end of the day.
The perfect time to rearrange the board. You must dispense of the childish emotion that controls you, act exclusively in service of that which most benefits you. And you cannot do so without someone to guide you. You are still merely a fledgling, young man. You know not up from down in this vast new world. And you have neither an army nor the weapons with which to defend yourself. Should you go out into that world unaccompanied, it will snap your neck before you feel the hands upon your skin.
And what benefits are you hoping to reap from this? You're not acting out of a love for the people, that much is obvious.
A chance to fulfill my duties as consul to the Lord. My expertise went largely unused under Lord Banier's rule. It was a deeply frustrating time for me. And though if I may be blunt, perhaps I should say that I would like to die knowing I have accomplished something worthwhile with my life.
I mean, even just being in that position alone will have lots of benefits for him. I'm sure, so...
I can promise you I have no intention of mistreating the people for my own personal amusement.
You've still given me no reason to actually trust you.
Allow my work to speak for my words. Allow me to proffer unto you my knowledge, that it might be of service to you.
I don't completely trust this man, nor do I think I ever will. He's after something, probably wants to use me as a puppet under the guise of assisting me as my consul. He makes a good point though. I mean, you do need a starting point anyway. You might as well try and can always fire him later, basically. If there's anything really shady going on. I'll need someone to show me the ropes if I want any chance of governing effectively.
Have you come to a decision?
Okay. It's a pleasure to have you, Odilon.
At your service.
Not sad. Try anything, and you'll be out the door faster than you can blink.
Understood.
Good.
Now, if I may, I would like to offer my first instruction.
And that would be? And what would that be?
You will need to make a formal proclamation of your succession. There are still many among your people who know not who you are. Thus you must declare yourself the rightful heir, the lost son of Lord Barnier's predecessor. You must assume a new name.
Say again.
The name by which you were known before is but a veil behind which you guarded your noble identity. And the time has come now for you to reclaim your true self.
Hold on a second. I'm not...
Yes, I am aware of your lineage.
Okay, then what name do you suppose I should take?
You shall assume his name, Jean-François Barnier.
Is this some kind of sick joke? You're insane if you think I'm taking on that psychopathic killer's name. Why on this green earth would I ever want to call myself after the men are dethroned?
Among the nobility, names are oft passed on, from father to son, from brother to brother.
But why his name? A name associated with fear and tyranny. Are you trying to hobble me before I take my first step?
You will remove the stain his deeds have left upon the name. Lord Barnier killed his father, brothers, and all their families and attendants, as Ginevra likely told you. Why do you suppose he killed them?
Are you mocking me, old man? He killed them because he was a damned madman.
Lord Barnier was not the rightful heir.
Excuse me?
He was merely a stand-in to be disposed of and quietly replaced when came the time. However, he grew voracious for power, fixated on becoming the Lord himself. So he killed everyone who stood in his way, both the Barnier family and the attendants who knew the truth.
Okay.
No, he failed to realize that the Lord had sired another son. You, the rightful inheritor of the Jean-François Barnier name.
So that's our story, huh? I'm not the fake. He was.
When the truth is revealed, the people will be enraptured, and, crucially, the damage to the Barnier family name will be minimized. After all, the Barniers were but victims of the charlatan's avarice. As you are to take on the Barnier family name, it is to your benefit that the reputation you inherit is as unblemished as possible. Furthermore, you have nothing to gain from keeping your present name. No longer are you the man you were in the slums. You must become a new man entirely.
Enough. I need time to think. A day. Give me just one.
I cannot. It is a matter of the utmost importance. You must act swiftly, for the opportunity will pass and the tides turn against you anon. The people are on your side for now. However, should you fail to expeditiously demonstrate that you, as their new lord, are likewise on their side, you will find yourself with more than the counts upon your doorstep. You must decide now. Sir.
All right. I'll swallow my pride. I knew there would need to be some changes before I embarked on this road. So this isn't unexpected. Just moving quicker than I was prepared for.
A wise decision. Now, before we move on to the next order of business, I must ask. Are you physically well enough to remain on your feet for a short while longer? You will need to stand before your people and make a speech. Nevertheless, it is evident that you are wounded from your battle, and it would reflect poorly on your accomplishments were you to collapse during your first appearance.
I'll be fine. I can hold myself up long enough to give a speech.
Youth, what a wonderful thing. You must be sure to get your rest once you have finished. I will arrange for the best doctor to come examine you.
Appreciate it.
Now then, let us be off. You need merely repeat after me. Hey, did you hear the new Lord's speech? Barnier was a fraud this entire time.
What? No way. God, I should have skipped work and gone up to the manor to see it.
You still got a chance. Go down to the square. The town cry is spreading the word of the whole thing.
Did you hear? The new lord led the charge on the revolution. And he was the real Jean-François Barnier. I heard. I was there for his speech. He's so young. And easy on the eyes to boot. They say he spent years living in the slums, hiding his true identity. That must have been so difficult for him. At long last, we're free from our suffering. Free from the terror of Lord Barnier. Cheers for the new lord. Oh, give me a break. You're no damn lord.
How goes it, Maria? You look like you ain't slept in weeks. Where's your smile, girl? Today's a day for celebrating.
Oh, go fuck yourself. You're the one who pushed him into this.
Huh? What you getting pissy about?
You pressured him into this dumbass revolution, into becoming the fucking lord.
Whoa, that ain't what happened at all. Jacopo's the one who proposed the whole thing.
Bullshit. He was trying to talk sense into you at the Midsummer Festival.
For the love of cripes, what crawled up your ass and died? The batshit asshole's gone, and now we got someone on our side in power. What's there to complain about?
Is there anything in that meathead of yours?
What was that?
You do realize he can never come back now, right? He's the Lord. He's gone, and he's gone for good. Up there in that manor, all by himself. And you dragged him up to the top of that hill and left him there.
I get that you want someone to take this out on, but Jacopo's also the one who proposed becoming the Lord.
No.
I didn't push a damn thing on him. He showed up one day with a ring bearing the Barnier family crest and told everyone he was royalty and had a claim to the throne.
This is insane.
It was his words that sparked the revolution.
There's no way. Jacopo is royalty? You need to get a better sense of humor.
My thoughts exactly at first too, but then I saw the crest on the ring. It's the real deal. Did you miss the whole part when he put on the ring in front of everyone before we stormed the manor? His whole spiel about being the heir? That was pretty damn convincing if I do say so myself.
You seriously think I was there for some stupid pep talk?
Ain't you his friend? I feel like a friend should be rooting for his success, you know. That's what I'm doing, I can say that much. Anyway, I got a hot date with a couple of kegs, so I'm out of here. Unless you wanna come with. We're gonna be partying all night long.
Like hell I'm coming.
Just thought I'd ask. Try not to look so sour all the time, Kay. You're much prettier when you're smiling.
Joke on a dick, asshole.
Duly noted. Later.
I can't root for him because he's my friend. I know better than anyone that he's in over his head. All I can do is pray for you, Jacopo. Pray that you'll always be the Jacopo we know. That this won't change you. We're still friends, right? Even if we're worlds apart now. Yeah, it's an understandable worry. After giving me enough time to recover, Odilon quickly got to work instructing me in everything I needed to know to be a lord. My first priority was to revitalize the city, cleaning up the mess my predecessor had left it in. As much as I wanted to ensure that everyone had food and water, it simply wasn't possible to make happen overnight. We would need to significantly expand our farmland, build additional granaries, repair existing irrigation canals, not to mention crack down on crime and disorder. There was so much to do, it was almost dizzying, but the last thing I had time to do was whine. That said, none of it could happen with a snap of the fingers. It would take time and manpower, which meant we would have to use existing stores in the meantime. I asked the people, particularly among the upper class, to relinquish ownership of their stockpiles for me to redistribute among the population. That would allow everyone to make it through the transitional period, I figured. Naturally, though, not everyone was happy with the arrangement. But the cries of dissatisfaction were drowned out by cheers of support when I explained that it was for everyone's sake, that we would need to band together to carry the whole city through what would be a rocky transition. As I was patting myself on the back for a job well done, Odilon shook his head and said, "'Twill hold a year at most." We have enough stores to last at least 3 years, 2 years, though. 2 if we want to be extra safe. 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 2 if we want to
They will set your manor ablaze long before the stores run dry.
Excuse me? Why would they? I'm obviously doing everything in my power to revitalize the city. And I was the one who freed them from the claws of the tyrant.
The people see only the results. Though they accept your promises of improvement now, if, in a year's time, they do not see those words bear fruit, their trust in you will wither away. That you came from the slums is viewed now as a heroic rise to power, but your past will soon be turned against you, used to delegitimize you. You must produce for them tangible results.
God, I knew this wouldn't be easy, but still. It boils my blood to think my predecessor sat around on his ass all day. Did he even accomplish anything in his entire time as the Lord?
I can think of only one truly positive effect of his regime. His support for the arts.
His what?
Surely you have seen the numerous pieces of art adorning this manor's walls. He would often treat himself with works from the finest artists and artisans in the land.
Oh, you mean all those paintings and vases and fancy drapes? Bunch of worthless junk, every last bit of it. None of it will do anything to fill the people's empty stomachs.
It would seem you understand not the value of art.
Well, I did grow up in the slums.
Do you know what purpose art serves?
To make you feel better. It's nice to have around, but not much more than that.
Bribes, my boy.
Oh, I didn't think we'd go there, but okay.
Those who hunger for power similarly hunger for ways to flaunt it, and the singularity of a piece of art fills the drawer. Some have a genuine appreciation for art, others merely use it as a tool. But nonetheless, skilled craftsmen, artists and their work naturally gravitate toward those with power. It would be wise for you to consider dressing somewhat less pedestrian soon. Now, we should be able to put the former Lord's possessions to good use in helping you build up valuable relationships.
You mean start handing out bribes?
Indeed. But remember, they are negotiation tools. You must use them where they provide you the greatest returns.
Negotiation, huh? Alright, I think I see what you're getting at. If I want to revitalize the city in a year, I'm going to need help from my good neighbors. In exchange for provisions and workers, I offer the various count's pieces from Bannier's collection. Sound about right?
Precisely. My, you're much cleverer than I would expect of a man from the slums. Now, if only you would become accustomed to this manner of thinking, you could become a fine leader in short order.
I appreciate the concern, old man.
I will dispatch messengers and arrange meetings with the counts so we can begin anon. And I hope I do not have to remind you, but you will need to be very careful with your words, Lord Barnier.
Yeah, I know. Oh boy. Like, he isn't wrong that he kind of needs to churn out results fast to appease everyone. Politics. Lovely.
You seem quite tired, Lord Barnier.
You think? Every day I have to go meet with someone new, and I spend all my travel time learning how to read and write. It's enough to exhaust anyone.
'Tis necessary nonetheless. Illiteracy will only...
Yes, I know. You said I look tired, and I'm telling you why that is. I never said I had a problem with it.
I overstepped. My apologies. Your diligence has been invaluable in earning the Count's favor, Lord Barnier. They think quite fondly of you.
Is that so? Because that's certainly not the impression I'm getting. They put on a facade of friendliness, but beneath the surface, they're all laughing, trying to figure out how to best use me, not just outright scoffing. Not a one of them sincerely trusts me. I'm just a pawn to them.
We are all pieces on one another's boards.
What's that supposed to mean?
'Twould be most prudent to consider that unqualified friendship simply does not exist in high society. All interpersonal relationships are built upon a foundation of mutual benefit, save for exceedingly rare, short-lived exceptions. Nonetheless, you should not consider being used as a bad thing. We all climb atop each other's boards, offering ourselves up as a powerful piece. And so do they offer themselves to us. Should you wish to survive in high society, you must always ensure your peers see you as a piece worth playing.
Sounds exhausting. That would mean you're putting yourself out there as well, old man.
Indeed, I am your pawn, Lord Barnier. I offer myself to you, and in your using me, I gain this position as consul to the Lord. 'Tis a far more practical and reliable system than one founded on something so uncertain as emotion, would you not say?
I don't know about that. Which is to say, I'm a pawn to him as much as he is to me. I suppose so. Then I too will have to ensure I remain useful, lest I be swept aside and another Barnier brought in to take my place.
Oh, sharp words, my lord. But worry not, for I have no qualms with your performance at present. Now, Lord Barnier, we must discuss your next.
Hold on a sec, would you?
Yes, sir.
Do you mind not calling me Lord Barnier in private? I can understand why you'd want to keep up the charade even when no one's looking, but frankly, I'm just not comfortable with it.
Very well. Then, my lord, it shall be.
Can't say I'm surprised you won't use my real name. But still. Yeah, that'll do. Thank you. I mean, he's saying in private, but these kind of like manners or whatever have ears everywhere. I think being cautious is the right call with what they're doing here. And like what are you expecting to, I don't know, like Jacopo himself said he's probably not gonna trust this guy. So are you trying to build an actual friendship here by getting him to use your name? I don't quite get it. Like, I get being called Barnier isn't great, but I don't know, are you soon going to miss your friends in the slums? Because relationships here are very different, as he already put it. Oh boy.
Not at all. Now, back to business, my lord.
It took long enough, but we're finally starting to see some real progress. Who knew negotiation was so much work?
You should be proud of your accomplishments, my lord. 'Tis hardly an easy feat to amass that much manpower and resources in only 6 months.
Doing better than expected, huh? How's public opinion looking? Reports should be coming in by now, I assume.
Some dissatisfaction, but numbers are within expectations.
Dissatisfied? With what? I've spent every waking moment these past 6 months working my ass off to revitalize the city, and people aren't happy with that? They should be jumping with joy.
My lord, you must understand that it is impossible to satisfy everyone. A degree of discontent is to be expected.
Even so, it should be blindingly obvious how much better I'm doing than that previous basket of rainbows and kittens.
All is forgotten on the gentle ebb and flow of time. Past injustices matter little in the face of the present.
It hasn't even been a year.
The people do not genuinely care about you, nor will they ever. They may sing your praises one day and forget about you the next. I believe we have been through this before.
Surely there's someone out there who gets it.
That is wishful thinking, my lord. You could work yourself to your very bones, and the people would merely see you as fulfilling your duty. You must not seek their approval. More will be expected of you, and more will you be the subject of undeserved resentment, for the simple reason that you exist in a position of power. Only those in a similar position can understand your hardships. Ultimately, then, you have 2 choices. Either dedicate yourself in service of your people, or mercilessly exploit them like your predecessor.
I won't follow in that bastard's footsteps.
I pray your heart remains true, that you remain a wise and caring lord.
Damn it. So what specifically aren't people happy about?
The foremost is food shortages. This was anticipated, and all we can do is ask them to persevere. The second comes from the upper class.
Go on.
They are quite naturally displeased about being made to surrender their stockpiles. It would be prudent to offer them remuneration in the near future.
They're doing well enough for themselves already.
My lord.
I know, just letting off some steam. So I get to go butter up all the rich men in town. Wonderful. The whole idea was to help the less well-off, yet here I am.
I understand that you are not pleased about this, my lord, but do remember you have more to fear from a few of the upper class banding together than the entirety of the slums. For they wield a most troublesome weapon, an upper class upbringing. They know precisely who to tell and what to tell about you to tarnish your reputation in the blink of an eye. And do not placate yourself by thinking the common man will see through the attempts to undermine you. Even if they did, an unlikely supposition, they could do nothing to counter it. They are powerless.
But it was the people at the bottom who pulled most of the weight organizing and executing the revolution.
It was an exceptional set of circumstances that allowed the revolution to take place as it did, not the least of which was the Lord's status as unequivocally evil in the eyes of the people. You will not find them all agreeing on anything so readily now.
Alright, I get it. The point is, I gotta win over all the rich people, or my whole operation's going to come to a grinding halt, right? So as much as it rubs me the wrong way, I'll do what I have to do.
A wise decision, my lord.
Is that the last of the complaints?
No, the influx of immigrants has caused an increase in general unrest.
Of course it has. I bring them in to help with the restoration efforts, and they go and cause their own new set of problems. It's like I'm chasing my tail here.
So long as there are people under your authority, never will you be completely free of strife.
You're telling me? So would increasing the god's presence in the city help keep the peace?
Most of those with the training necessary are already deployed, meaning you would need to have new guards trained from the ground up. You will have to mobilize them where they are most needed.
In other words,
tighten your grip on the slums.
Wow. So now I've got to take away their freedom.
I know you have a personal attachment to that area, my lord, but you must cast that aside. No longer are you the man you once were. The slums should have never been allowed to fall into such lawlessness in the first place. You will merely be restoring it to its proper state. If you truly wish to bring prosperity to this land, you must eventually scale down and then eliminate the slums.
But if I get rid of the slums, I'll be getting rid of their home.
My lord.
I know, I understand what you're getting at, and I understand that everything you're saying is perfectly logical. Can we hold off on that for a bit? A bunch of guys down there formed this peacekeeper group to, keep the peace. They'd gladly help out if we could talk to them, I'm sure. We can scale up our patrols, but no stepping on their toes. Got it?
As you command, my lord.
Oh, very tricky. There he is, as we got to know him in the first game first, and no wonder Morgana was confused about the whole Lord thing if he took on his name. Hard to believe it's been a whole year. It feels like I only just started yesterday, yet also like I've been doing this forever.
You are looking somewhat worse for wear, my lord.
Do I? Who am I kidding? You're right. On the other hand, you don't look like you've even lost an hour of sleep this entire year. Goes to show how inexperienced I really am.
While it is true that I have been in this position for many years, I also do not bear nearly as much responsibility as you. I merely stand in the background and offer you small pieces of advice. All the while, you face the crowds directly, negotiate with counts, make dozens of difficult decisions. If there is one thing I have learned in all my years, it is that I could never begin to imagine the weight a ruler must carry. Never mind one who has never raced to take the throne and thrust themselves into the labyrinth of politics and high society. It would be a greater surprise if the trials had not taken their toll.
That reminds me, Barnier was Lord for a full decade before we took him out, wasn't he? And as I recall, he wasn't as much of a despot early on. If just 1 year has taken this much out of me, how much longer before I'm no longer able to act like a reasonable human being? No, don't think like that, Jacopo. Well, I'd say you need someone who gets you back on the ground if that happens. Whether that be this guy or some actual friends that you probably haven't seen in a year, which is sad, but yeah, understandable kind of in this situation. Actually, forget it. What matters is that we seem to be doing a good job minimizing discontent.
Indeed, you have successfully made it through the first year. The city is decidedly more presentable than it was when you took the throne. There are precious few who could replicate your accomplishments in such short time, my lord. You would do well to take pride in your work.
Pushing to do everything so quickly has taken its toll. The people are worn thin, slaves are dying by the droves. I still have a ways to go before there's anything I can be proud of.
Slaves are the tools of progress, my lord.
The first thing I'm really disagreeing with you on, but okay.
Tools do not last forever and must be replaced regularly.
And you can't build a house with your bare hands, I get it.
You learn quickly.
Not even a year ago, I would have been up in arms about the number of slaves dying. But now, they're just numbers to me. Apparently, my worldview has changed quite a bit.
It is about time we started considering our next step.
Meaning,
Your efforts thus far have merely been toward repairing the damage caused by your predecessor.
you make it sound like all this has just been warm-up.
My apologies. I did not mean to discount your great efforts, my lord. I was simply speaking of the grander scheme.
Yeah, I got that. You want to settle on a direction for how to grow the city, right?
Indeed. The status quo is vastly inadequate for bringing prosperity to this land, and there is no saying when the surrounding territories may cease being so friendly and set their eyes upon conquering us. But of course you cannot keep your eyes trained outward in fear of attack and allow the land to devour itself from the inside either.
So what you're saying is, it's a balancing act.
Precisely.
So, what kind of advancements do I want to pursue? There is something that's been on my mind. This land is ill-suited to growing crops. When I lived down in the slums, I had no perspective and figured that what we produced here was no different than anywhere else. But now I know better. The grapes used for our wine are miserable compared to what have been served elsewhere, as is nearly everything else we grow. I can only assume the land itself is to blame.
Oh, the wine from the south is indeed exceptional. You quite nearly gave me a heart attack when you leapt from your chair in the middle of a meeting, shouting, "This is nothing like the wine from home."
Enough. That never happened. It was my first time tasting anything like it, alright? Anyone would have had the same reaction.
You have grown much, but nevertheless, you are still quite green.
God, I really need to watch myself around this man.
In any case, it would be ideal if we could begin producing higher quality grapes, not necessarily to compete with the south, but enough to be serviceable. Efforts to improve our farmland are underway, although it could take some time before we see the progress. Have you any propositions, my lord?
Actually, I was thinking it might be best to cut back on agriculture.
Do elaborate.
What if we were to build the city up into a trade hub of sorts?
Meaning, you wish to open our gates to our neighbors?
Exactly. One thing the city has going for it is its wealth of artisans. But for years we've only ever exported our goods. I want to bring people here to purchase. We reduce taxes for merchants and give them special privileges. Set tariffs and border taxes lower than they are in the capital. And business will naturally find its way here. This land may be less than optimal for farming, but it's more than adequate for trade. We're in a convenient location to serve as a hub for the surrounding realms. Rather than close our borders and wall ourselves off entirely, opening up and making ourselves of value to our neighbors is far more likely to dissuade potential invasion. We're all pieces on one another's boards, isn't that right? Who says that can't apply to the entire city? The best way to expand without stepping on anyone's toes is to do so in a way that benefits them as well as us. What do you think?
A rather aggressive strategy you propose, my lord. If I may be so bold, there will be many obstacles to this plan's success. You will need to arrange meetings with the head of each realm you intend to invite, the order and timing of which will be crucial to its success. Furthermore, the influx of outsiders will be a source of much tension among your people.
So you think I'm aiming too high?
You are indeed aiming exceedingly high. Your obstacles will be numerous and precipitous. Nonetheless, obstacles can be overcome. Your exhaustion is nothing compared to the weariness that awaits you down this path. Do be well aware of this, my lord.
You're damn right I am. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go all in. Okay. The Lord's manor sat atop a tall hill. Gazing out, the city stretched before me. Countless columns of smoke rising from the buildings, the people scurrying about like so many ants. From up here, I had the perfect view of the bustle of the city. But I was too far away to feel the life breathing through it. To think I used to be one of those tiny little specks. Thousands of people lived there. They had families, jobs, friends, hobbies. But as much as I was cognizant of that fact, I no longer grasped it on anything more than a conceptual level. It was incredible just how much my view of the world had changed in merely a year's time. I'm going to go out into the world, I said. I thought that clawing my way to the top of the ladder would let me see it, would let me experience it. That with power, I could have the whole world at my fingertips. But reality wasn't so simple. This sure isn't what I was looking for. Hell, I feel like the chain just gotten tighter around my neck. There's no way to truly grasp the view from this height without climbing up and seeing it for yourself. And that was exactly where I was a year ago, blind to the reality of life in the upper echelons, fantasizing about a world that didn't exist. Unlike the me of the past, I did have the satisfaction of feeling like I was accomplishing big things. But was that really worth cutting myself off from all my friends? Did those achievements really justify a bloody revolution? Or, I suppose I should ask, was this work valuable enough to me to justify it all? Reminiscing about days long gone wasn't going to help anything, and, in fact, it only served to cause me pain. I couldn't return to that time. This was where my quest for power had brought me, and now I had to live out my days as lord of this land. Telling myself day after day that it was far better than being a powerless slum rat. God, I've been so busy these past few weeks. My eyes are... One day, I'll show you the world. Do you ever get tired of saying that? You've got to think big. Dream. The world's changing all around us. A life just fighting to make it by day to day is hardly a life at all. I don't want to spend the rest of my days confined to this tiny little corner of the world. Well, try not to let your dreams grow so big they crush you. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'll just have you sing for me if it ever gets to be overwhelming. Why would I be there? Why wouldn't you? It's hard to show you the world if I don't bring you with me. Knowing you still won't know where you want to go. So I'll bring you with me. We can find a place for you together. Pretty good deal, huh? I don't need to see the world. All I want is... Dozed off for a second there. It feels like those days were an eternity ago. I don't need to see the world, all I want is... All you want is what, Morgana? What were you trying to tell me? Yeah. Just tough lives all around. I mean, no matter what you do, there's always gonna be something.
Man, it feels like a whole different place here now.
You think? Looks like the same old nasty dump it's always been. He's talking about the whole city, adult.
Exactly. Things are on the up and up in the city proper, but we ain't seeing a scrap of it down here. The heck's up with that? All the new shops are spilling out past the city border. The highway into town's turned into a full-blown bazaar.
Oh, sounds nice. Is there anything in that damned head of yours? We're saying how come we're still living like rats if they got enough spare coin to build all that market space? Hell, with all these damn immigrants coming in, the slums are an even bigger shithole than before. You know, I never thought much of it till now, but you're right. Gang's been a lot busier lately with all the drifters.
And Jacopo, Lord Banier, ain't showed his mug down here even once since he took over. I mean, I get that the bloody lord can't spend all day hanging out in the slums, but he could at least visit. Instead, he's spending all this time buddying up with the rich folks.
And we used to be such good friends too. Wonder if he's planning to just not bother with us at all.
I hope not, but that's sure what it's looking like. You think he'd at least throw us a bone rather than letting the merchants and upper class take coin baths in his coffers. Guess when he became one of them, he became just like him too.
Feels like we're in the exact same place we were a year ago. He's no different than the old Barnier.
Gratien, what are you about to do?
Psst, psst.
God. Oh, it's you. So, you find anything? Yep, got the proof you was looking for. But if you'd be so kind as to never give me a job like this again. I'd be hanged thrice over if the nobles found out I was sniffing around in their business. Oh, quit being such a bitch. You didn't steal nothing or kill anyone. You're fine. A man's secrets can sometimes be worth more in his life. But on to business. Your suspicions were correct. Well, fuck me sideways. Here's your pay. Take it and piss off. Nice doing business. Hey, hold up. I risked my neck to get that for you, and this is all I get in return? Got a problem with that, you little bitch? No, sir. Don't you worry. You'll get your fair due shortly.
I knew I had a bit bad feeling about him, and something must happen at some point. Well, everything always goes downhill in these stories. We should be used to that, but oh well. These construction costs are really starting to pile up. Can't we put the manor repairs off until we've taken care of more pressing matters? Like using that money to help the poor.
The Lord and his residents are the face of his land. If you wish for the city to continue thriving upon the fruits of your relationships with the surrounding realms, you must maintain a minimum level of respectability, my lord. Merchants in particular are merciless judges of appearance. Of this you can be certain. No respectable merchant will do business on equal terms with a city whose lord refuses to take care of his own home.
I get that, but still, it's so much money.
These are necessary expenses. To acquire the resources required to aid the lower class, we must increase the rate of production. Efforts must begin at the top and gradually work down. You must not be in such a great rush, my lord. The work you are performing is on a much larger, longer scale than perhaps that of which you are accustomed.
You have a point. Then let the construction continue. I'm definitely coming to see just how crucial a bit of embellishment can be to surviving in high society. Man, this really sucks. Every engagement is like throwing myself into a lion's den. Everyone surrounding me, measuring me up. They question my pedigree, some with their eyes, some with their mouths. Some even attempt to dig up dirt on me in order to tilt the scales in their favor. Oh yeah, and there was that one time when I was straight up shouted at, right to my face. You're no more a damn noble than any of those other rats whose nest you crawled out of, if I recall. Not that he was wrong. I took the throne by force. It's only natural that people are going to have their suspicions. That I came from the slums is just the icing on the cake. I'm damn lucky if condescension is the worst treatment I get on a first encounter. And then there are the distant relatives Barnier let slip through the cracks, slithering back up to assert their right to the land. There are a lot more people out to get me than I first anticipated.
Do remain strong, my lord.
I will always be strong. If I so much as let these wolves smell weakness, they'll pounce all over me. Like hell I'm going to let that happen. I won't have time to work on helping the poor if I have to spend my days fending off packs of bloodthirsty nobles. I must always appear strong, under any circumstances. I, of all people, should know just how easily a lord can be dethroned. And I'll be the next if I leave even the slightest opening. I have to do whatever it takes to make sure that's not my future.
Perhaps you should get some rest, my lord.
Excuse me, are you insane? I have to review the construction budget so that...
Allow me to handle that. I will get you something to drink. Perhaps a glass of that southern wine you are so fond of. It is quite sweet, perfect for alleviating built-up fatigue.
I am not fatigued.
Come now, please take this request from an overly concerned consul, my lord.
Fine, you win. It's hard to believe it's only been a year and a half. I feel like we go way back.
We do see each other every day after all.
I'm starting to crave some variety, to be honest. I never found a good opportunity to ask you this, but...
Yes?
Do you have any family? Because if you do, you're more than welcome to have them live here.
I appreciate your concern, my lord, but they have all passed away.
All of them?
Indeed. My entire family was eradicated at the previous lord's order. Once, and only once, I offered him my humble opinion. So infuriated was he by my insolence that he had my family murdered. I would have much preferred myself killed in their stead. But he was a man who reveled in other suffering.
And you just kept on serving him?
That is correct. I acted as his loyal servant, too afraid to speak up again.
Acted?
Recall what I said when we first met. I was sitting in wait for the perfect opportunity. Now you understand why.
Well, damn.
And if I may come clean about that time, I had every intention of disposing of the revolution's puppet master. Never once did I trust Ginevra. Her foolish motives were plain as day. As the new lord's mother, she planned to control a planted usurper from the shadows, acting as the effective governor of the land.
What a risky plan. Like, even just as a woman of that time, you know.
Having no family left myself, the city and its people are like my children. So I refused to stand by and allow her to turn them into tools to satisfy her own avarice. The land would hardly survive a tyrant sweeping in to replace a tyrant. But she was removed from the board by the former lord before she had a chance to see her aspirations to fruition. Knowing she was no longer a danger, I decided I would wait and see how the successor fared before taking any further action, to determine if you were sufficient to serve as lord of this land.
And I guess I passed, huh?
Are you not upset, my lord?
Nothing to be upset about. You never hid the fact that you acted in your own interests. That if a piece had no value to you, you discarded it. And I always knew there was more than what you were telling me. I'll just say, I'm relieved to still be standing here.
If only you knew how close you were to falling on the other side of that line.
Am I really that on edge, after all the work I've put into this?
While you do have a rare aptitude and strength of spirit, you are still much too easily swayed by your emotions. Ergo, I shall continue to instruct you until you are able to fully satisfy my expectations. 'Tis rather curious, so oft do we speak, so great our time together. I have come to think of you as my second son.
Don't get all mushy on me, old man. We're not friends, and we're not family. I'm a pawn on your board, and you a pawn on mine. Strictly business.
My apologies. I never said a word.
Right, never happened. Moving right along. You just keep doing what you do best.
At your service, my lord.
Out of curiosity, do we have any free hands around capable of riding a horse?
For what purpose?
There's someone I want found.
Whoever it may be you wish to find, my lord, I am obliged to remind you that...
You don't even have to finish that. I know. I'm supposed to leave the past in the past.
Let us see then. Your men have their hands rather full at present, though we can perhaps arrange for one of them to be reassigned.
Are you sure?
'Tis a small request, and not once in your entire tenure have you requested to use your man for personal matters. I believe we can spare a hand or two on such rare occasions.
Much appreciated.
Shall I arrange for them to set off immediately?
Please. I'm looking for a girl. If she's alive, she'll look around 13 or 14. And she has unusual markings on her face.
Markings akin to burn scars?
Barnier once imprisoned her in this manner. He used her as a prop for his banquets, cutting her up from head to toe. My guess is that the patches on her face are a result of Barnier's abuse.
Indeed, I know the girl. I presumed she had not survived the slave revolt. I take it you care quite deeply about this girl, my lord. Then allow me to offer my sincerest apologies in her stead.
No need to apologize. Will you help me find her, Odilon?
I will oversee the search operation personally to the best of my ability, my lord. I pray the girl is still alive.
As do I, unlikely as it may be. I'm just chasing after a sliver of a dream that shattered long ago. That said, if you do find her alive, bring her here without telling her it's at the Lord's order. She'll likely assume it's the old Barnier who's after her if you say anything. And if she happens to have found a new home where she's happy, just leave her be.
Understood.
Oh, that's making me a bit teary-eyed. That he says, okay, if she's happy, then leave her. I mean, that's all he ever wanted for her, right? To have her find a place. Man, that was an interesting exchange. And I mean, yeah, we can expect Odilon to be just acting, to just keep being an opportunist. And again, I can't really blame him, but so far he seems to be quite genuine in his support. I mean, it's tricky because putting the effort towards the relationship with the nobles and everything like that, it seems to be the wrong priority at first glance if you're being emotional, if you're being, oh, this is supposed to be about the people, but it also unfortunately makes sense. So it's really hard to judge if he's going to be a source of concern for us, or if it's going to be Chrétien and another revolt or whatnot. Oh man. Time drifted slowly onward. As I'd anticipated, there was no news regarding her whereabouts. But new shops and stalls continued opening in the city, with them coming a steady flow of travelers and passing merchants. And as traffic through the city increased, so too did the number of people seeking an audience with me. I was getting busier by the day. My plans to attract merchants and artisans from the capital had worked, and every one of them seemed to have a bigger, more ambitious proposition than the last. My days became a cycle of meetings, reviewing propositions, balancing the budget, and deciding whether to proceed or postpone. And amidst all the tumult, my thoughts drifted ever further from the poorest of my people. And that's the last of the day's meetings. There's no end in sight to this.
That is a good thing, my lord. It means you have succeeded in drawing traffic to the city.
I guess, but still. I need to go back and review all this proposal, so...
Lord Barnier, a moment.
I don't have a moment to spare.
A townsperson requests an audience with the lord. You have been instructed to deny entry to commoners. I tried, but he refuses to leave the gate.
Hold on. What's this man's name?
Sir, he calls himself Chrétien.
Oh shit, is it really him? Let him in, by all means.
My lord, you mustn't give anyone special treatment.
Chrétien's not just anyone. We've been to hell and back together. He wouldn't be here if it wasn't important. Yeah, from what we've seen, I think it'd be dumb not to talk to him. I should hear what he has to say.
No, my lord, you cannot. Your past is...
He's a good friend. I'm not sending him away. It's not even on the table.
Friend or not, you mustn't give him an audience. You are the lord now, and he a mere peasant. You cannot be certain he will hold himself with proper decorum.
I don't appreciate what you're implying about my friend, old man. He's no goddamn brute. Doubt.
I imply nothing, my lord.
Keep your counsel to topics you actually know something about. I'm not going to stand by and listen to anyone insult my friends, not even you.
My lord, must I remind you yet again to keep your temper in check?
That's enough out of you. I'm done. Not another word on the subject.
My lord.
Hey, guard, open the gate.
Yes, sir. Sup, Jacopo? It's been ages.
It feels like forever. How have you been doing?
Never been better. How about you, kid?
Show proper respect to your lord, peasant.
You are to refer to him as Lord Barnier, not any false names he may have responded to while in hiding. Seriously? You ain't gonna let him kick back even for a buddy?
Enough, Odilon. He can call me by my old name.
But my lord...
I said I've heard enough from you.
Well, look at you, taking charge and barking orders all important like. You're like a whole new man, my lord.
Please, you can use my name.
I'm dead serious though. Hard to believe it ain't even been 2 years. You seriously look like a whole new man.
You think so? I don't feel like I've changed all that much myself.
I don't know, you just, what's the word? Emanate lordliness now. Guess it don't take long in the noble's den to turn into one of them, no matter how far down the chain you come from. And look at this room. Look at all these fancy fucking furnishings. None of this old Barnier stuff, is it? None of this is old Barnier stuff, is it?
Nope. With all the meetings I've been having, I needed to make sure I had a room that was nice and presentable.
Well, that's one way to put it.
Hey, don't think I'm just throwing around money for the fun of it. If I want any pull in a negotiation, I need to look like I have.
No need to explain yourself, kid. I totally get it.
Do you?
It ain't easy dealing with a bunch of rich folks with sticks up their asses.
I appreciate it. Anyway, what brings you here today?
Well, bud, do I need a reason to visit a friend? Can't a guy just want to hang out and catch up? Come on.
I never said that. I'm just extremely busy at the moment. I don't have much time to spare for anyone.
Come on, don't be such a tight ass. That's exactly why I'm here. To make sure you don't got that stick up. You don't got that stick up there so deep it punctures your brain. You gotta let loose sometimes.
I suppose. Thank you for your concern.
So let's get sloshed, just like the old days. I even brought the booze.
I wish I could, but I don't have the time.
You'll drink with merchants and rich snobs, but not me. That stinks, kid. Right to the gut.
Oh, don't let him go, Joe. I don't like where this is going. Like, whatever he replies with, like any... Oh no, maybe Odolan was right too. Oh no, honestly, whichever way this goes, it's gonna be horrible, right? I see you're as pushy as ever. Alright, fine. One drink, in the back room.
That's what I'm talking about.
My lord. It'll be fine, Odilon. We go back years. There's nothing wrong with a couple friends sharing drinks after our hours. If you insist, my lord, but the peasant must leave his blade behind. I will not, under any circumstances, allow you to be alone with an armed slum dweller. I'm more concerned about the drink myself, but we'll see.
Yeesh, everybody needs to loosen up, huh? I seriously think I'm gonna pull a sword on an old pal?
Humor me.
Whatever, fine. You win, old-timer. Happy now?
Yes. Sorry about that, Katja. Odilon's always on edge. It's nothing personal.
No, it's cool. Can't say I blame him. Now, let's go get trashed. I brought a little something from that pub we used to haunt. Bet you usually drink way better shit than this now that you're the friggin' lord. But it'll be like old times, you know.
This reminds me of the time we had the drinking contest.
Wanna go another round?
I'll have to refrain. Odilon would murder me if I did that.
Sounds like the geezer's got you by the balls, huh? No fun allowed up here in the Lord's house.
It can be rather suffocating, yeah.
Well, you can at least let loose today. To all times, kid.
To all times. Now this is a sight I never dreamed of. The two of us here in the Lord's Manor drinking together. We were both slaves when we met, for God's sake.
No fucking joke. You never know what life will bring ya. Been almost 5 years since then. You weren't even 20 yet.
I expect we've both grown quite a bit since those days. Or are you still running around like a wild boar even now?
Hard to say. I don't think I'm as bad as I used to be, but getting into shit kinda comes with the territory, you know? And the slums are still the same as ever.
I see. So how's everyone doing down there?
We're scraping by, as usual.
The rest of the gang? And Maria?
The guys are still lazing around the pub all day. Maria's rebuilt the brothel, and she's getting by as best as she can. Obviously not in the same place, but it's smaller, and it's smaller in the old one. But for a chick, she's doing alright for herself.
I'm glad to hear it.
So tell me, kid, you and her totally had a thing, yeah?
Where on earth did that come from? I believe I've already told you, no, we didn't.
Just seems like she's about 10 times more worried about you than anyone else. There must have been something. Don't make sense otherwise. Maybe she just had a thing for you and you never saw it. Poor girl.
There were no romantic feelings on either side. We were friends. Simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less.
Have you seen those honkers?
What does that have to do with anything?
It just don't make sense to me. How can a guy only be friends with a chick?
It just means we value certain things in life differently.
You know, you like to do that sometimes. Get all weirdly noble like that.
Oh god, yeah.
Hey, I didn't mean that as a jab.
It has nothing to do with being noble. Maria's special. We've known each other most our lives and we survived hell together.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that before, didn't you? That you two have known each other longer than anyone else. What was it like back then for the two of you?
Before I met her, Maria was raised in an orphanage. She said she ran off because she and the director didn't get along.
Can't say I'm surprised. How about you?
I had two suspicions about this whole thing. Either the booze is laced with something or he's trying to get dirt on Jacopo, which is weird because he should have enough dirt on him already with the whole slums background, so either way, I'm so wary of everyone.
Can't say I'm surprised. How about you?
I hardly remember anything from before I came to the city. Just bits and pieces of what my mother told me. Being guarded by a bunch of men, being kidnapped by bandits.
You mean that noble woman? Real shame you had to lose her so soon after reuniting, huh?
Indeed it is.
Don't you think it's about time you cut the shit?
Excuse me?
You're not a Barnier. You didn't inherit the throne. You're just a damned fraud. Ain't that right, Jacopo?
What are you talking?
Finally starting to kick in, looks like.
I knew it.
God, you got any idea how hard it was not to throttle you through that entire conversation?
What? Almost out of nowhere, my heart rate skyrocketed and my legs started trembling so violently, I had to lean against the wall to support myself. The whole world started swirling, and I could just barely make out my old friend glaring at me through the fog.
How you like that? Feels like our heart's about to burst, don't it? Don't you worry, kid. You won't be feeling nothing soon.
You poisoned the drinks? Why would you?
Why? You seriously need me to spell it out for you? You've been stuffing your head with fucking rainbows up here. You wanna know what they call you down in the slums? Jacopo the Betrayer.
I did not betray.
You take one goddamn look at the city and tell me that again. While you're up here treating everyone with a card and some trinkets to sell like fucking royalty, the slums is still the same rat's nest you left it. No, we're even worse off now. With your new marketplace, anyone can turn a little bit of money into a big old pile of gold. But if you got nothing to begin with, you're just dead in the streets. All you're doing is making the rich even richer.
No, I'm trying. I wanted to explain how I had everything planned out. How I first needed to improve the economy as a whole before I could turn my attention to the less well-off. That nothing changing was proof I was protecting them. That the slums had been in danger of being eradicated entirely, and I had stopped it. But I could see in his eyes that nothing I said would convince him. As far as he was concerned, it was pure evil.
You're not the man you used to be.
Gratien, why? I thought you believed in me.
You're damn right I did. And then you went and fed us a bunch of lies. You called yourself the rightful heir. You called yourself a Barnier. But I did my digging. You don't got a lick of royal blood in you. All you ever wanted was to line your pockets, you selfish bastard.
No,
You never had any intention of helping us.
Please, hear me out, Gratien.
We were all just pawns to you. The whole damn revolution was part of your game.
I'm begging you.
How's it feel, knowing your throne sits on the backs of all those people you betrayed?
Please.
You don't have any right to call yourself the goddamned lord.
Gratien.
Oh, you barely have any right to call yourself a fucking man. You're just a rat in fancy clothes. It should have been me. I would have made an infinitely better lord than you ever were.
Doubt.
If only I'd had that ring, then it could have been me.
So that's what this is all about. In a flash, everything I once felt for this man, all the friendship, the camaraderie, the sympathy, went cold. As much as he tried to dress up this whole farce, that was where his heart truly was. He was just sour about not being the one who got to be lord. He believed himself superior. He got himself caught up in this stupid fit of jealousy. And now he's trying to kill me over it? That's seriously all this is? Are you listening to a word you're saying?
What was that?
You're the one who's not the man he used to be. And you're the one who's being a self-centered bastard.
Talk all you want, dead man.
The Chrétien I knew would never resort to using poison. He'd have drawn a sword the second he passed through those gates, faced me like a man. But look at you. Even Barnier had more of a spine than you. Oof.
You dare compare me to that sack of shit? Alright, fine. I'll play it your way.
He had a knife hidden on him? Of course he did. An instant later, Chrétien was brandishing a short blade. He had snuck it in under his clothes, I presumed. I was almost amazed at how thoroughly prepared he was. He'd never had any intention of this going any other way. He hadn't come to talk. He was never going to hear me out. He was here to do one thing, and one thing only. And I doubted he had any plans for what would come next. Raw hatred was all that fueled him. He wouldn't take my place after killing me. He wouldn't work himself to the bone to ensure the city kept running. He didn't give a single damn about any of that. You're scum. I won't be taken down by some worthless self-absorbed rat. Nothing I had ever tried had been enough to best Chrétien in combat. And that was when I was at my peak, not with the myriad needles of his poison prickling my every pore, barely able to stand under my own weight. But still, I had no intention of surrendering my life to this cur. I took in a deep breath, clenched my teeth, shouted at my shaking limbs. Move. Move. Move, move. Move, damn you. My fingers, I could feel them again. Before the thought finished passing through my mind, my hand reached for a blade. Grasping the rapier hanging from the wall, I swiftly drew it from its scabbard. It was a decorative blade, not meant for combat. It would probably bounce right off Chrétien's muscular chest. But there was one place I could target.
Rotten hell, you son of a bitch.
Knife in hand, he lunged at me, just moments before death befell me. My vision, blurred by the poison, grew unbelievably clear. Chrétien almost appeared to be moving in slow motion. I wasn't sure my mind had ever been so clear, so sharp in battle before. The dying embers of my fading life burned anew into a blazing inferno. Unlike my fight with Barnier, this one was over in an instant. Before I had time to breathe or even blink, it was settled. And in that same instant, everything I'd built up with this man turned to dust. I had never once defeated him. For as long as I had known him, I was always number 2. And now, for the very first time, I won.
Why did it have to be you there and not me?
The blade of the rapier in my hand skewered Chrétien's throat. His mouth flapped open and shut like a fish. He glared at me, face twisted in a mixture of hatred and agony, sputtering fragments of contempt, until the life drained from his eyes. My first victory against my old friend also took his life. And it all happened in the blink of an eye, hardly enough time to even register in my mind.
My lord, what was all that commotion? What happened? My lord, please stay with me. Are you poisoned? Someone, is anyone there?
Yes, sir.
A doctor, as quickly as you can.
Aye.
My lord, please, my lord, a doctor will be here shortly. Please, stay with me just a little longer. My lord.
Odilon, you were right. I was stupid. I should have listened. I thought he was my friend, but he wasn't. Not anymore. And because we had once been friends, that made him my greatest threat. Can't breathe. My blood feels like it's made of magma. My throat burns. My skin, it's like it's being eaten away. Who's there? Who's there? Why are you laughing? Answer me.
How does it feel, boy? To know it all went exactly as I said it would.
What? How? But you're...
That you wouldn't be able to trust anyone.
You're dead.
The worst is yet to come, boy.
Silence.
You could work yourself to the marrow of your bones and still the people will never look beyond the surface.
I said enough.
Listen, you can hear the scorn in their voices. They're calling you a tyrant, a soulless monster. I know you can hear them.
They are not.
They say you're no better than me. That you're a foolish ruler who cares not for his people. They shout an endless cacophony of discontent.
Shut up. Just shut up. I am nothing like you.
Can you then remain a virtuous leader no matter how bitterly your people despise you? Is your love for them truly so resolute? No, the virtue you brandish was never so selfless. Tell me I'm wrong, slum rat. It is not benevolence that drove you to take the throne, but a thirst for power, for prestige.
Not another word.
Do you know what truly brought you here? You were tired of people looking down on you. You thought you would be treated with respect if you had real power. You wanted it more than anything in the world.
Enough already.
You're dedicating your life in the service of others. It was never going to last. Allow me to make a prediction. Soon, very soon, you'll find yourself drifting over to my side. you'll stop caring about the people's lives, and for that they will despise you. You lose any last bit of sense left in you, push everyone away until you're all alone, and then you'll succumb completely to madness's grip.
Stop talking.
You don't have what it takes to be the lord of the land.
I said stop talking.
The people aren't the only ones who aren't on your side. You have enemies everywhere you look. The nobles don't accept you as one of them. They'll try to drag you off your throne by any means. Your raids and servants will turn on you. And this won't be the last time you writhe in the claws of poison. Again and again and again and again. Never will you stop being the target of others' loathing. Or will you continue to act like some kind of paragon of virtue, never wavering in your faith in others? How long will your benevolence last, in the face of dozens of attempts on your life?
Shut your goddamned mouth.
It won't be easy, boy. Because you came from the slums, you'll face even greater threats than I.
Silence.
I bet that just terrifies you. Drains all the hope from your heart. Well, there's an easy solution. Follow in my footsteps and reign with terror.
Stop talking. I've heard enough of your goddamn noise.
You're already afflicted with a great curse, boy. A curse known as the Lord of the Land. It's a curse from which you will never be free. And hence, you will never be free from me. However much you may come to regret taking that throne, you can't give it back now. It's not something you can simply hand off to someone else, nor a duty from which you can simply relieve yourself. That anguish and agony and misery it brings you every day will follow you all the way to your grave.
Just stop, damn it. Keep your babbling to yourself, you damned ghost.
Go on, try and make me. Cover my mouth, why don't you? You can't do it, can you? You're too weak to defeat even a mere spirit.
Shut the hell up.
I know precisely what your future holds, boy. You'll sit upon the throne alone. Not a single person at your side. And not even death shall free you from your eternal solitude. For it is naught but an empty shell with which you decorate the throne.
Stop talking.
Do you hear that, slum rat? Someone's come for you. The question is, do they act out of genuine concern? Can you be sure the water they give you is safe to drink? Perhaps they mean to finish you off. If a simple grunt like him could get his hands on poison, How easy do you think it would be for the Lord's Council to procure a substance hundreds of times more potent? Hell, you wouldn't even have to go through the trouble. You're no more a threat than an insect with its wings torn off. A feeble woman or a crippled slave could plunge a knife into your trembling spine with little effort. Behold, the former mastermind of the revolution. All this suffering, you brought it on yourself by trying to defy your fate.
The nightmares continued. Again and again and again they haunted me. Every time I drifted off to sleep, there floated Barnier's severed head, cursing me, mocking me, laughing at me from every direction. And as he said I would, I soon began to hear the people as well, endlessly condemning me, deriding me, berating me. I tried to convince myself it was all in my head, but Gratien's words told me otherwise. All my old companions called me Jacopo the betrayer, he had said. I wasn't sure how much time had passed. Was it day? Was it night? Was I sane enough to tell the difference? Was I even still alive? I had no idea. It was always the same refrain every time he appeared. You can't trust anyone. Your friends will all eventually betray you, try to drag you off your throne. Your people have no faith in you. Everyone despises you. I couldn't even tell anymore. Were those Barnier's words? Or were they coming from the depths of my own mind? All I knew for certain was that there was no escaping them, and that they were slowly eating away at my spirit. My breathing was labored, and my entire body felt like it was on a spit being roasted in the eternal flames of hell. And at other times, I couldn't stop shivering. I felt like I had been tossed into a frozen river. Doctors, guards, Odilon, I couldn't tell who was who, but there always seemed to be someone standing at my side. The faceless shadows were anything but comforting, though. Aubagné's ghost constantly reminded me of the threat they posed. I quite certainly wailed like a terrified child. Everyone seemed like a danger. If even Gratien couldn't be trusted, who was to say the doctors weren't sneaking poison into my medicine? Who was to say Odilon didn't plan to silently remove me? I didn't know who I could trust. Or maybe Barnier was right. I couldn't trust anyone. Still he cackled. Still he cursed right by my ear. There isn't a soul left in this world who won't betray you, he whispered, laughing away. Yeah, how do you know who to trust? That's really hard, but I mean, again, I was suspicious of Gratien from the very start, so because he was even more emotional than Jacopo himself. So that didn't seem out of character for him. You would have thought that he tried to get Jacopo's, let him explain himself at least first, before just going in and trying to kill him. But then again, yeah, it doesn't quite surprise me. My fever seems to be receding. I can finally move again. It looks like I survived. Hey, is anyone there? Where are you, Odilon? Anyone? Lord Barnier, I'm so glad to see you're feeling well again.
Thanks.
We've all been worried sick.
Lord Barnier?
What? Oh, pardon, you just seem, not quite yourself. But after all that's happened, I suppose that shouldn't be a surprise.
How long was I out?
3 days, sir. The poison kept you bedridden for 3 full days and nights.
That long, huh? Then I've got a lot of work to catch up on.
Yes, sir, but I implore you to take things easy for these next few days.
When do I ever have time for that? Now where's Odilon? I haven't seen him. Go fetch him for me.
He is presently...
Don't tell me he's not around. Where the hell did that old man get off to?
No, he is here. Please, Lord Barnier, try to remain calm. Odilon was...
Odilon. My lord, is that you? Thank heavens. You are well.
Forget about me. What happened?
My deepest apologies.
I don't want an apology. I want you to tell me why this happened.
Please, my lord, distress not over this simple old man.
Why, Odilon? The Odilon I know would never deign to put himself out in front of a gang of slum dwellers. What? Please, Lord Barnier, try to remain calm. Odilon was struck in the head with a stone and is in critical condition. The following day, that is, the day after Gratien poisoned me, 12 people from the slums showed up at the manor's gates. They cried in angry protest against the Lord, demanding change. Evidently, Gratien hadn't kept word of my deception to himself, so in addition to their other complaints, they shouted that I was a fake, that I wasn't actually nobility. They threatened to reveal my secret if I didn't do something about their living conditions. As the commotion dragged on through the day, people within the manor started getting restless. Eventually, it got to be so tense that Odilon stood near a window, told them they needed to cease immediately, and that if they wouldn't, they would be charged with lèse majesté, which is when you was hit in the head with a rock and lost consciousness. God, you damn fool!
I am quite pleased to see you have recovered enough to shout with such vigor. Now I needn't worry.
Wait, slow down. Worry about what?
Regrettably, it would seem, old age has bested me. I think the stone must have gotten my eyes, for I cannot see you there, my lord.
I'm right here. Please, don't give up on me. You're stronger than a stupid rock. Give it a few days and you'll be back to perfect health. And even if your sight doesn't come back, you can still do your job. I can tell you everything I see. Come on, Odilon.
My sincerest apologies.
Please. Why would you even go try and talk them down yourself anyway? Whatever happened to acting only in your own benefit? What did you have to gain from not having them executed on the spot? They were rioting in front of the Lord's manor. You had no reason to bother warning them. There was no question they were committing a serious offense. Why didn't you just do what you would always do? And then I would argue with you about it, like I always do. What the hell got into you, Odilon?
I suppose I must have softened up somewhat.
Excuse me?
You cared so much about your friends in the slums, my lord, that I took pity on them. Old age seems to weaken more than just the body. How truly inconvenient.
Oh, Odilon.
Nevertheless, I am glad this old body held out until today.
What are you...
I would not have been able to pass on peacefully had I not seen you recovered from the poison, my lord.
Stop it. Don't talk like that. I told you, you're stronger than one damn rock. I'm your lord, damn it. My word is the law.
'Tis with great regret that I must defy my lord's command.
Enough. I mean it. You stop this right now.
My warnings against being swayed by your emotions remain unheeded, I see.
And who the hell's fault do you think that is, huh?
You are the lord. The sooner you learn to control that blaze, the smoother your future endeavors will proceed. Do not allow your days to be cut short as well in a moment's weakness. I implore you to always remain strong. Strong and ever high of heart, so that none may drag you down. With death upon me, my hands are shaking dreadfully.
I didn't think anything scared you.
It terrifies me to know I will be leaving you alone. Before I was able to teach you everything, I cannot bear knowing that I have forsaken you at but the onset of a great and perilous journey. There is so much more I have yet to pass on to you that you will need in order to become a great ruler. So much.
Then don't go. Stay and teach me. You said you wanted to fulfill your duties as consul. Then you didn't want to die until you had accomplished something worthwhile. You can't tell me you're satisfied with this. Odilon. Odilon? Odilon. Don't do this. You can't. Say something. Please, say anything. Tell me it's all a cruel prank. Odilon! Lord Barnier. Odilon is dead. Make arrangements for a funeral. Yes, Lord. And what happened with the riot? They fled soon after striking Odilon. I would wager they returned to the city. Thank you. Would you like something done about them, Lord? I would. They need to understand that their actions have consequences. They slandered their lord and murdered his consul. We can't just let them walk away from that, now can we? Then we will have them all arrested and thrown in the dungeon. I said there would be consequences. If we just slap them on the wrist, they will come back and do it again. They'll mock me, condescend me, ridicule me, keep making a mess of my home. Tell me, do you feel safe serving a lord whose people neither respect nor fear him? Would you have any admiration for a leader like that? Have them executed. Since Odilon isn't here to advise it, I, Lord Barnier, officially order every spark of opposition is to be snuffed out. You find every last one of the rats and relieve them of their heads, and then put them on display in the city square. Make sure they know damn well exactly what awaits anyone who opposes Lord Barnier. Yes, Lord. Odilon's blood was on my hands. My inexperience and naivete had gotten him killed. He had warned me again and again that my people had no love for me. But I ignored him, foolishly believing in friendship, letting Gratien into my house, and ultimately getting Odilon murdered. My trust didn't belong with Gratien or my old slum companions. It belonged with Odilon. I should have realized so much sooner that he was the one and only person left I could trust. Men with whom I had spent years had likely participated in that riot. Men whose names I knew, whose faces I recognized, with whom I had spoken on countless occasions. But I felt not even a pang of regret in ordering their deaths. I didn't reminisce about the good old days. Those days were gone, irrelevant, meaningless. I felt no sympathy for the people they were leaving behind, nor did I so much as bat an eye when I saw their bodies lined up before me. Compassion bred weakness made you vulnerable. Oh, I thought I was a typo, sorry. Compassion bred weakness made you vulnerable. I had to excise every last bit of it. It was the last thing I needed. For I was the Lord, Jean-François Barnier. Oof. There's the downfall. Oh man. I don't know, there's never a good place to stop for me in these, but I think that'll have to do for today. Oh, forsaken indeed. Man. Like, I guess we kind of knew he would slip, but not in that way. That's, damn. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Except for, again, I kind of knew it. Like, they wouldn't just put Gratien there as a character that didn't mean something in the end, aside from being like a comrade. It had to. And I hate looking at it like that, like having to be suspicious of characters because the story always turns out bad in the end. It's just frustrating knowing it's gonna be like that. And at least Odilon didn't seem like he betrayed us. Like, it seems a bit not fishy. Again, I understand the angle he was going for, like trying to first appease nobility and everyone, and not really vibing with the same focus that Jacopo had. Then again, I don't think he was necessarily wrong. Like, with which resources do you want to help the poor? Like, if you then anger the nobility, don't have their support, and someone from that side backstabs you, no matter what you do, you're always gonna fail on some end. Yeah, not an easy position to have. Neither of them. But yeah, that's where we are. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it from my side for today. As always, thank you so much for watching. I would like to know your thoughts in the comments down below, really, especially with this part. It's very, I don't know, a lot of interesting angles. Yeah. Until next time, bye bye.